All right, welcome to round two, everybody, of the Matthew Sorenson Disc Golf Tournament. We're at the Camplex Park. It's kind of a weird name, but it's a really fun course here. We got Gabe sitting at 11 under par. He's a local, so not too surprising. Peter had a tough hole 18, so he's 6 back of him at 5 under. He was really fighting too. Shad just couldn't quite get his putts going, but he's 2 back of Peter at 3 down. And James managed to fight his way back to even after having kind of a rough start to that round. So
yeah, with that 4-stroke swing on hole 18, that pushed Gabe up to a 1040 rated round,
which is unheard of. That's a great rating for him. So here's hole 1, 347 feet and extremely guarded. So that's a nice looking shot. Oh, caught a tree there. So he's going to be pretty open from there. Should be a pretty easy approach, I would think.
Yeah, you can see the difference in this course, and this course is actually the Energy Rotary Disc Golf Course, and it's in the Campbell County Arboretum. This is like a tree garden where they drew all these trees to see how the trees would do in this actual climate. And the really cool thing about this park is you can go around and you can see some of the trees actually have plaques by them, and they tell you where the trees were from and their Latin names, and just a cool thing that this community did also.
Ooh, James let that one out a little early. He's on the good side of that bush, so he should be able to pull something off. Oh, and that tree stopped him. Alright, so here's Peter. He's got a nice look here. It's a little short, but he should be able to save it from there. Ooh, Shad having to go sidearm roller. That's great distance control with that. Looks like Gabe kind of left that one a little wide. Oh, and it's rolling back too. Okay. This course is definitely the more challenging of the two that they played this day. It's a nice bogey save there.
Yeah, even when it's really windy in Gillette, you can get out and play on this course because it's really guarded with all these awesome trees.
Shad, that was a great putt. Maybe that's a good sign for this round. Maybe he's gotten something going. Yeah, Gabe left that one maybe a little wider than he wanted, but he's got the putt, so no worries. Peter for his par. Yeah, I doubt that one gets a lot of 2s on it.
No, it's a really challenging hole.
So most of them saved their par. James with the lone bogey. I'd say that's a pretty well played hole for the group. That's a pretty tough looking hole. So here we have hole 2, 257 feet. Again, through a lot of trees.
Yep, a very demanding shot.
One of the few places in Wyoming that'll come up. Unless you're in the northeast side, I guess. Or northwest side, I mean. Gabe going big spike hyzer. And looks like it'll work. What's that? Maybe a little outside the circle. Peter playing it inside those trees. That looks like a much tighter line.
Yeah, those pine trees are just blocking that shot.
Yeah, that's tough. You'd have to kind of flex one, I feel like. This has got to be the line you want to throw.
And in the last 2 years, you could see the 2 tree stumps on the left. Those were huge weeping willow trees, and they blocked the basket off.
Oh, man, I bet. Those weeping willows are really hard to get by.
Yeah, you would try to just crash into those trees. Yeah, kind of like that tree we just saw. But you would just try to crash into those trees and hope it stopped you and have a putt at that birdie.
Yeah, it kind of looks like there's been a few trees over on that side cleared out too.
Yep.
Yeah, that would have been right through one of those trees you were talking about.
Yep.
It's probably a little more work than James would have wanted to leave himself, but it should be alright. That one looked a little tentative. He didn't want to go too far deep and end up in those trees behind it, it looked like. Gabe was not worried about that. He was giving it all. That's a good 3. Okay, well, and if Shad was only that far, it was... Yeah, James isn't as far away as it seemed on that earlier shot. Yeah, so that definitely looks like an interesting hole. That backhand hyzer is the way to go on that one. So far these guys are just kind of hanging in there. This a much tougher scoring course, it looks like. You got 296 feet with OB right behind the basket.
This hole plays for the right-hand backhand. It's a pretty challenging shot if you're doing a right-hand sidearm or if you're a lefty backhand.
Well, and as tight as those trees are, you do not want to be short, but with that OB, it's hard because you don't want to go long either.
Right. You got to get out where Peter is so you can get clear of those trees and then skip up to the basket. Nice shot.
Oh,
Peter.
yeah, that's how it's done. Let's see if Shad can follow that.
The pine trees on the right are getting bigger, and they're starting to make that shot more demanding, though.
Ooh, that's going to be a tough spot there.
James following Peter's line.
Yeah, just a little shorter, but he should be able to lean that one out and have a good look at a putt. Looks like Shad's just trying to get himself a look. Gabe getting booed for not running it. Seems like those guys play together quite a bit. Peter for a good look at the 2 here. Oh no! Woohoo, that one almost popped out of there too. Shad'll save his par though.
Yeah, he would have been all around the place.
I thought that's what you were talking about, but I wasn't going to say.
Golly jeepers.
Alright, so everybody parred that one. Kind of seems to be a trend on this course. Gabe's still sitting 6-stroke lead. 233 foot, hole 4, par 3. Hopefully this one we'll get to see a little more action on. But pretty guarded actually. I can see why he's looking at that overhand.
Yeah, this shot is a demanding shot that an overhand or... dang, was that the basket hit?
Yeah.
Dang.
So here's slowed down a little. You can see it just glanced off the basket there.
It's also pretty open for this sidearm though too, that you can see Peter lining up.
You just got to take that one kind of high. Looks like he's just over, oh, not quite over the trees. Yeah, a little higher than that, and that would have been perfect. Shad looking to do the same thing. He pulled that one a little wide left. Yeah, that's going to be kind of a tough look. Should be fairly open, as long as those branches aren't too low. James just coming up a little short. He didn't quite make it left or right enough to get to that out of bounds, though. Oh, and Peter from downtown.
That was a great putt.
Yeah, dead center on that thing. Yeah, I'm not even sure that one was in circle 2. That was long. See if Shad can follow suit. Oh, right over the top. Oh, and James just a little left, maybe, a little low. Shad left himself some work going for that one. He's nailing those, though. Gabe for the look for the 2 after glancing off the basket. That was a nice birdie. Got that unfortunate roll after it glanced off the basket. Left him a pretty good amount of work for that birdie, though.
Yeah, nice he could still score on that hole after such a great shot.
Yeah. So Peter and Gabe breaking the par streak here. Unfortunately, that means Peter doesn't gain any ground on Gabe. Alright, so here we have hole 5. It's only 173 feet. Looks like it's got a double Mando on it.
Yeah, with the double Mando, it forces the players to play up. Otherwise, they would be taking probably a backhand hyzer shot, right-hand backhand hyzer, up over the walk path and crashing down at the basket. You could see from where Peter is, it's a much more open shot. But with this double Mando, it makes it pretty demanding, and it makes you really have to throw that straight shot up the middle.
And that is a pretty tight tunnel that you're trying to throw up. The Mando is encompassing 2 of those rows, though, so you have a little bit of leeway.
Right, and if you get down the center of it, everybody holds their breath, because if you're in the middle, it's going just right at the basket. Like you could see from James and Shad. Nice shot.
Indeed. Peter got another look at a long one. Oh, just short. That looked like he had a chance.
All right.
Okay, I was worried Shad might be a little blocked being on the wrong side of that tree, but looks like he was not too bad. I gotta say, that's pretty good. This is a short hole, but that's a pretty tight fairway to try and throw up, so I'm pretty impressed that we were able to get 3 birdies out of that. Gabe just pulling a little further away, though. Shad finally getting something going, and James both getting going again. So hole 6 here, 321 foot par 3.
In my opinion, the challenge on this hole is the downward sloping tee box.
Oh yeah, this is one of those. Oh yeah, you can kind of see it here. That can be really awkward. Looks like no Mando on this one, though. Ooh, that might be blocked by that tree. Well, and it looks like your tee box is sloping down, but the hole itself slopes up.
Yep.
Yeah, Shad shouldn't have any trouble with that putt. That's a little... oh no.
In the past, we've done where you have to throw to the left of these trees.
Oh, really?
To keep you off of the fairway for the next hole on the right. And that makes it a real demanding shot like Peter takes, and oh man, parks it.
Just straight up under it.
But for players that don't have that sidearm, it's a really demanding shot if you take that line.
And an uphill throw, 321, you're probably looking at 350 worth of a throw, and hyzer.
You see that obstruction got in the way of Gabe making that putt and trying for his comeback.
He didn't have an open look there either.
I think that's going to be the first bogey for the day for Gabe.
I think you're right. He was able to get the bogey and move on, though. It's real easy to start getting in your head and turn those into a double or worse. End up going back and forth.
I'm sure he'll get back on track.
Yeah. Bogey for James as well. And Peter will just set his disc in the basket. Great birdie from him and Shad. Yeah, so 2 birdies, 2 bogeys. That hole basically averaged even. Yeah, that's given Peter a chance, though. He gets a birdie, Gabe gets a bogey. Hole 7 here, 444 feet. Par 4, though, so...
Yep, the first par 4 of the tournament also for these guys.
Looks like it's also kind of playing uphill.
Yep, it's probably about 330 of the feet is to the base of this hill, and then it's a pretty steep uphill. Really brings in the roll away on your approach shots or your putts on this hole. Really scary.
Looks like they're having trouble getting past those trees there. Gabe plays it out a little wider than them. And he got past those earlier trees. That helped. James really ripping over on that one. I don't know if he was trying to roll that or if he just got a little more ante on it than he'd want.
Seems like the wind has picked up on this course too.
Yeah, it seemed like that is true.
See the trees moving a little bit on this hole.
Yeah. Which, when they were up high on that initial tee shot, probably really did affect it. But now that they're down here, they're probably pretty blocked from it. Looks like they're getting some push. Got a little lift and push off of that, though. Gabe trying to punch out of those trees. He should be able to get that. Oh, James almost cashing that birdie. Okay. A little bit of a nose down putt. Kind of looked like he might catch the rim of the basket there, but he managed to squeak it over. Gabe will get his birdie. I don't think Shad should have any trouble with where he ended up. James with the par. So not too bad. 3 birdies and a par on that one. Gabe's still sitting on a 5-stroke lead. You want to start putting the pressure on him. If he gets comfortable, there's no catching him. That's kind of the way of disc golf. Once somebody's comfortable, they can just start pulling away like nothing. So hole 8 here, 358. Looks like kind of across the valley to fairly level.
Yep. And this has been hole 20 in the past. The course in Gillette has taken 2 holes were removed, and they had to put in 2 new holes, and it was because they have a contract with a youth festival that comes to town. It was actually in town last year, and it's an international youth festival, and there were 70,000 youth in Gillette for this festival.
Ooh, that's looking really good. That looks like that should be a pretty good look. This was a really tough hole to film a catch cam on, so I kind of have a weird spot here, but the basket is right behind those trees that he just landed by. And it looks like Peter just barely stayed in bounds. Should be an easy par from there, though. That was a good up. Looks like Shad went a little long and right also. Not too far, though. That looks like you would rather be long on this hole, though. This shorter side seems a little protected, a little guarded.
Yeah, you got to get right in that window or those trees are going to get in your way.
Gabe that was just about perfect. Shad will clean up his par, and looks like Peter and James will do the same. It's kind of an interesting hole, the way it's over that valley and back up onto the hill. Yeah, so Gabe getting the only birdie on that one. Like I said, they're going to need to apply some pressure soon, or it's going to be really hard to keep him from just taking off with this. So here we get out into the open. They're going to be wide open, downhill, 557 feet. To be honest, I was half expecting, with how downhill this is, that these guys would be putting after this drive, which is very probable. Wide open like this, you can just let it rip as hard as you want.
Yeah, usually there's a right to left wind on this hole, and if you got to look at the eagle, you're feeling really good.
Okay, yeah, see, he's down there. Looks like he's going to have maybe just outside the circle for his birdie, or eagle. Wow, he turned that over. Nice. If it comes back, that's... I didn't fight back. Like you said, probably a right to left wind and just squashed it when it turned. James pulling that one wide right. Try and ride that wind a bit. Not really a putt, but decent shot. Okay, that'll work. Yep, those were nice approaches by them. Peter, he's got a jump putt. Ooh, getting that little bit of roll away, though. That's never fun. Yeah, I'd say Shad's 45, maybe 50 feet. What a bid. Yeah, Peter got heck of a roll on that one. Oh, and airballs it.
But there's part of me that also needs to get the tune to get a stroke.
Nice birdie by James there.
Woo!
Alright, no harm. Peter cleaned up his par. And birdie for the rest of the guys, which you kind of expect on this hole. Wide open hole like that doesn't pose a ton of challenge.
Yeah, as long as the wind's not ripping too hard, but you could see it was still blowing pretty hard with Chad's flag there.
Yeah, oh yeah. That's why you want to put that second shot up close and just not have to worry about that. So this one gets really narrow up by the green. You have some trees protecting the green if you come up short, but if you go long, you're out. You're OB.
Yep. And with the trees, it really cuts off the straight shot, so you got a hyzer on it with a backhand, a forehand, right hand, left hand. Both ways you got to go around these trees to get up to the basket.
Gabe just grabbed. That was a great looking shot. Kind of expected it to flare over by the basket, but it just stuck. It was like Velcro. Shad trying to throw the same shot. It's getting a little more turn out of it. Oh, and he got the slide. Shows you how close that out of bounds really is. Oh, and James came up a bit short. That could end up pretty tricky if you're on the wrong side of those. Peter taking the sidearm. You think that's wide enough? Oh yeah, he snuck right around there. Oh, right over the top. That was an interesting line. Oh, and he almost saves the par. Oh, and just a little low on that.
We haven't seen Gabe miss too many putts like that today.
No, we haven't. Gonna let Peter get one on him there. Like I said, maybe that'll change the momentum. Maybe Peter will start closing the gap up.
He's got 10 holes left.
Yeah. Alright, so that's the end of part 1. We still got Gabe holding the lead by 6 strokes here. Shad kind of starting to put a little bit of a move on, and James holding strong there at even, so make sure you come back and join us for part 2.